and welcome to week 2 of Giggling Babelfish, my vlog. This week I'm going to be talking to you about mimicking and masking in A.S.D. I'm going to be talking to you about subjects within this such as what is mimicking or masking, who does it and why, and what are the pros and cons, and what therefore can go wrong with it. So, I suppose I'd better start by saying that mimicking and masking is partly to blame for the reason why I got diagnosed so late. I have what is called an adult diagnosis, and my mum is partly to blame with that too. She didn't want me to go to an autistic school because she knew that I mimicked. She didn't want me to mimic the autistic people. She wanted me to mimic normal people in life. So of course she sends me to a school for dyslexic and dyspraxic kids because they're completely normal. At this point I should be probably explaining to you a bit about what is mimicking or masking. So mimicking is a bit like if you go up to a parrot and you get it to say, "Hello, my name is Fred." It will say, "Hello, my name is Fred." But does it know what the words are? Does it know what it's saying? Which can also mean that you can get it to say bottoms or bum, or some more rude version which I cannot say on this channel because it is not appropriate. And this is why you can get a very rude parrot, because it doesn't know that a bottom is the thing that you sit on, or bum is the thing you sit on. It doesn't know what a swear word is. It just knows that that's what the sound is. It doesn't know the context. It doesn't know the meaning. And that's a bit like what mimicking is with A.S.D. We don't know the context. And it can mean that you can get it wrong sometimes. For instance, I spent years practicing a mimic which I picked up from an ex at one point. You know when you cross the street and there's a car waiting for you, and you do that hand thing to say thank you to the car? And you know how there is one which also says "please stop" for me to the car, which looks very similar. Well, I was walking across the road with him and I saw him do this hand movement, and I guessed that he was doing, from the context really, I would guessed that he was doing the one which said thank you, but to this day I have no idea if I got this right. He could have been saying thank you, he could have been saying stop, and either way I don't know if I'm doing it right, and therefore I could be to this day saying stop when I've already stopped. So it goes in the fact that you don't know the context. It sometimes gets me thinking that given that I don't know the context of the time, if I was working in a zoo, would I start mimicking the monkeys? I mean, they're technically cousins to the humans, they count a bit, right? And so therefore, would I start mimicking them a lot? And one day come home in a gorilla suit, and instead of answering the question, or my mum asked me what I want for dinner, or how am I, or anything like that, I just jump on her shoulders, grab a banana out of her hand and shove it on my head. Now, mimicking is mainly in girls, which, in all seriousness, is the reason why only in the last few years the diagnosis for girls has gone up, and why therefore people know more about boys in autism, because especially with high IQ, which is called high functioning, or you may know as Asperger's, and don't worry, I'll be talking to you a bit later on in my vlogs about the terminology, but basically the ones which are more aware of themselves, they know that something is up. And as I said, I went to a school for dyslexic and dyspraxic kids, which is exactly the same sort of thing when it comes to awareness. You are clever enough and bright enough and together enough to know that you are not what is called normal. And this can make you very insecure. And the thing about this is that girls and boys react to this feeling very differently. Boys act out, girls close in. So that means that a boy will misbehave, be inappropriate, be silly, mess around, possibly even be violent, be loud. A girl will be quiet, she will what is called internalize it, so she will go within herself and think more. It's more mental than physical. So boys are more physical than girls, and therefore they will sort of be mouse-like, or if they are if they are misbehaving or doing something inappropriate, it's usually to their detriment rather than the rest of the world. And the problem with this is that the world works on the basis of we go to ones that could shout the loudest, and girls definitely don't shout the loudest. So the combination of mimicking or masking, and the fact that boys are more physical and show up more, is why we have this idea that boys, and especially children, and also low functioning, is what we know at the moment. So what we're now getting with females is a lot more adult diagnoses. So, like me, people who are adults, but it can be up to, I know someone who's 45 and female and has got a diagnosis. So it's really, 18 plus, I guess. It's, whenever you think adult is and above. And that makes it quite difficult, because if you have been mimicking for instance like me, 25 years, I sometimes think that I've been mimicking so long I can even fool myself that I'm not quote unquote normal. And sometimes that means that you don't know how to stop mimicking and be yourself and be autistic. And that makes it quite difficult for people to work it out. So that is some of the issues with it. I am aware at the moment that I haven't told you what masking is. They sort of go hand in hand. Mimicking is the action, masking is the result. So by mimicking you mask your A.S.D, your autism. I hope I've answered all the questions on this. If you find that you are not clear on something, you have more questions, or you just want to ask something about this subject, please do write it in the comments, and I will get back to you next week's vlog. I hope you really enjoyed this. Tune in next week for my vlog, and live, love, understand, be a giggling babelfish, guys.